Hello and welcome back to Vault Hunters. So I have been having some serious PC issues apparently, and this episode is mostly going to be voiceovered. That's why you won't hear any game audio in the background. Somehow I had messed something up in my Streamlabs, and next thing I know, I don't have any audio for this episode. So we are going to voice over this whole thing, and I'm going to do my best to try to walk you through everything. Normally I would just re-record this, but this is a situation where I'd had some really cool vault runs and got some really cool stuff, so I don't want to let all that go. So the first thing we're going to want to do is make ourselves up another vault crystal. I have been going kind of crazy making these vault crystals, as you saw a little bit ago. I have a whole bunch of them, and we're going to be making up some more crystals here too. I have some sort of addiction to making crystals. I don't really know why, but somehow it's just a whole lot of fun for me. But yeah, so we're gonna make up a few more vault crystals, and we're gonna do some vault runs. And like I said, I'm gonna do my best to voice over those vault runs as best I can. I have zero audio from these recordings, so the video you're watching right now is from whenever I was explaining what I was doing with this crystal here. There's all the crystals that I made before, so we're gonna work our way through here. So here we're taking a look at the different skills that I can choose. One of them I want to really go for is Dash. I definitely need Dash. The other one that I really want to go for is Heal. Now, some of these other ones here I'm not really going to need like right away. The Taunt, you know, maybe later on. Over here in Talents, there's things like Speed, Strength, and so forth. But really what I am really wanting to get is that Heal, because when I'm in the vaults, there's not a whole lot of ways to heal myself. So I think Heal is definitely the first one that I want to take. So next, since I still have 4 points here, I'm going to look into a couple other things as well. Now the heal, if I can take that up to level 2, I'll get an 8-second cooldown instead of the 10-second. So that may be something that I end up doing, and I think I am going to go ahead and do that. Now I also really want Vein Miner. Vein Miner is super important because I can just learn, I can break so many more blocks at a time. It's super nice. Now we still do have the Fortune feature. That one is really good. The Void is kind of interesting. It'll void any blocks it mines inside the vault except for vault ores. I'm not sure I want that because sometimes I may want to be able to mine a bunch of blocks in the vault. So I'm not sure I really want to take that one. That one looks to be a little bit odd. So definitely the Fortune is going to be the one that I'm going to want here. I'm not going to take it right now. I can always regret it later and then choose something else, but I think Fortune is going to be the what I want because it'll allow me to fortune up my ores and get a whole lot more out of each one of them. So we're taking a look at Dash here. Dash is such a great feature. You can actually use it to get around the vaults a lot quicker. Only costs 6 mana. You get 3, I guess distance of 3. I'm not really sure what that exactly is. But that's a pretty good one there. I wish they still had the cleanse feature, but that's part of the heal thing. So we're going to go ahead and take one in Dash here, and then I think we're going to go ahead and take another one in heal. That way we can lower that cooldown and make it a little bit faster to be able to heal ourselves inside the vault. Okay, so without further ado, let's run a vault. All right, so we got another interesting looking vault here. Each of these are very cool looking. This is the honey one. I like the pools of honey and honeycomb and stuff like that. I think it's neat how the water is all honey in this one. So I think that's very, very interesting. So we're going to be looking around for more points of interest here. I got to get some of that stuff out of the chests. We're going to see how well we can survive this. Mark our entrance here so we don't get all messed up. And since we do have our Vault Sword, we're going to be using that throughout. Okay, first one up here. This Vault Sword does a really good job. It's got that sweeping edge and stuff like that on it, so really makes it nice. So try to get the spawners if we can, and then we'll go through and we'll loot each of the chests. Oh, and of course, the first one ends up being, second one ends up being poison. We don't need all the poison in our lives. Grab some of the stuff out of here. Nothing too exciting in these first chests, but we'll continue on to try to find some more really interesting points. And I'm realizing how hard it is to actually voice over some of this stuff here. We have a couple gilded chests here. Gonna take out some mobs. Most of these mobs aren't too bad. I'm noticing that, of course, early game, they're going to be a little bit easier. But that spider was just way too easy to kill. Getting in here and getting these spawners out is one of the hardest things. Luckily, Efficiency 5 really helps out with that. And then we have a couple gilded chests here. And I'm always hearing mobs around me. There must be something behind this wall. I think I end up finding later it's just the rest of the rest of the vault area here. It looks like it might be something back there, and I see some vault fighters, but it's just another portion of it. So we did get a vault diamond in that one, which is always really cool. And we got our first relic booster pack in that first one as well. So the gilded chests are kind of lacking in the amount of items in them right now, but overall they're going to be much better later on. So this room coming up here was one of the coolest ones that I had kind of discovered in the Vault Hunters pack so far. This is a Crystal Caves room. Look at all the ores in the ceiling. It's a beautiful room in general. And this one was a little bit sketchy. So there are a ton of spawners in here. You can see vault fighters, zombies, everything coming out of the woodwork. There must be, 20 zombies right there. And this was kind of a bit of a close one. I was kind of worried for my life right here. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to survive all of those vault fighters. So my first thought was to pillar up, kind of get away from everybody for just a second to kind of get my bearings, get a chance to breathe. And of course, they're coming down from on top of me as well. So got to fight those guys off. And while those guys are fighting off, those spiders are making their way up and knocking me off of my pillar. Got me down to under half health. I healed really quickly there as fast as I could. And I'm watching and waiting for that heal to come back there on the bottom left-hand side for the cooldown to happen. And in between, I'm just going to try to fight my way out and work my way through, try to get away from as many of these mobs as I can. I backed myself into a bit of a corner right there, and that didn't help anything at all. Of course, I'm just continuing to get hit and hit and hit. So I'll make my way back. They're still spawning. There are a ton of spawners in here. Most of them did fizzle out in the end, and I kind of cornered them right there. I got a bit of a lead on them there a little bit. And of course, like we've said before, the bow is your friend here. It gave me a chance to heal again there, and they get kind of stuck on that stuff, so it gave me a chance to actually try to shoot them. I'm realizing these guys have some sort of parry to them, the vault fighters, because every now and then you shoot them and the arrows just bounce off. They don't actually hit them. And I didn't realize that they were going to have parry whenever I first messed with them. And so that's a bit of a rough thing to have to deal with whenever you're trying to shoot them. So I'm working my way through, pillaring back up, and I'm really watching the spiders. The mobs are just dropping down like crazy. And I did a little trick here, and I didn't know if this was going to work, but most of the spiders were kind of falling to their own deaths, and I almost got knocked off by that one. Luckily, I kind of boxed myself in here at the top, and that kept me from actually getting fully knocked off. The spiders are the worst, and I'm just trying to heal when I can and snipe away as many of these mobs as I can. Now, I ended up kind of pillaring out a little bit and getting off of the main piece there, which gave me a little bit more time with the spiders. I realized they can't just climb up midair. They have to get clear up the pillar and then across to you, so it actually gives you a better advantage with all the spiders. The mobs just keep coming. They come out of the woodwork out of nowhere. Every time I move closer to one of these crystal pieces, there are just a ton of mobs. It's really, really rough. Now, luckily, most of these mob spawners fizzle out, and so that makes it much, much easier to navigate if they're just gone. And so now with most of the mobs gone, I'm just going to work my way over here and gather some of these ores, these vault ores. I love the vault ores. They look beautiful, but on top of that, they're so incredibly useful. They are definitely needed in the pack. And we'll grab some more of this Larimar. We get some Bomb Ignite there, which is a good find. Some Woodadai. Bunch of different ores I was able to get out of this vault. This was a very fruitful finding this early in the game. And so with only a couple minutes remaining, I make my way out of the vault and back to safety. I got quite a bit of XP there. I got most of the way to level 5. I got 2,600 and some 34 XP there. Opened up a lot of chests, 27 chests. I dealt over 1,000 damage, which I thought was really, really good. Only received 29 damage, which is awesome. There's all the chests that I looted. And I killed a bunch of mobs. 80 mobs in that one. 50 zombies. That's a lot. So we'll claim our XP there, and we're almost to level 5. So one of the things I know I really want to make is something called the bounty table. It does require some chromatic iron, a loom, a netherite block, some essence and stuff as well. So I'm going to get all the stuff together and make that, because I hear the bounty table is something that we can use to really increase our ability to gain some extra XP kind of like outside of the vault. You have to do the challenges inside the vault, but we gain the XP from doing these challenges, and I think that's going to be a really good idea to get a few more things. So we're going to go ahead and craft up this bounty table here. And there it is. We'll go ahead and place this guy down just somewhere right there for right now. And then in here, there's multiple available bounties. And these are like challenges. So one of them is an item submission. We have to submit 54 vault apples to the bounty table. I don't have 54 vault apples right now, so I'm not going to take that one right away. This one here, I need to kill 38 zombies inside the vault, which I think is pretty good. And then this one, I need to kill 13 husks inside a vault. And in the end, I will get whatever's down there below. I'll get a bunch of vault XP, and we'll get some of the stuff like the bronze and the skill essence and stuff like that. We'll receive all of those things. Now, in order to use these, we actually have to activate them. We can only activate one at a time. And with killing all the zombies, it looks like it's probably going to be the better one to take. We're going to get some unidentified vault leggings out of it that are common plus. And we're going to get some mystery boxes. Mystery boxes are way better than they used to be. Now, one of the things we can do is we can actually re-roll certain ones of these. So like this one, the 54 vault apples, I didn't really like that. So one of the things we can do is we can put in vault bronze, and it'll tell you how much you need when you hover over it. And you can actually re-roll that selected bounty. And so now we change from 54 vault apples to 39 diamonds. And hey, I have 39 diamonds laying around, and it'll give me a sword, a shield, a vault diamond, and some stuff like that. So I can look to actually see if I want to re-roll these. The zombies and husks seem to be pretty easy to deal with. And so we're going to go ahead and activate our 39 diamonds, because I can find 39 regular diamonds. And I thought at first I didn't have 39 diamonds, but I looked in this chest, and whichever chest I actually opened up here, one of these chests actually had 43 diamonds. So I was like, hey, I've got enough to do it. So it took me a second to figure out. I think I just right-click the diamonds on it, and it sucks them in, and there we go. The bounty's complete. Once we've completed it, we just open up, we claim our reward, and it gives us a bounty crate. And then we just shift right-click it, and it explodes and gives us all of our stuff. We get the vault shield, an extra vault diamond, and 4 beniatite gems, which is awesome. So I'll put that back in here with some of my loot that I got from the last vault there, and we'll go ahead and roll those guys as well. Now, I know that you can't really craft shields in this one here, and so the shield is kind of interesting. Now, the sword that I got is pretty much the same as my other one. My other one had the sweeping hit chance, which is just kind of and the shield itself had a lot more stuff on it. It is a common ender shield with a 10% block chance, a 14% thorns damage, and a healing cloud when hit. The shields don't work in the same way. You can't just right-click the shields. You can't just right-click the shields and hold it up. It's kind of a passive blocking thing, so it'll only block certain hits. It kind of is replacing parry in this one here, and it's just going to like passively block when it's in your offhand like that. So that's kind of a neat thing, because I don't have to think about like right-clicking to hold it up and stuff like that. And so while we're at it here, we're going to go ahead and run another vault. Why not, right? We have the opportunity. Let's run it. So this is another one. This is, of course, not the one I wanted, because I ended up activating the bounty for the zombies. And in this case, I got one of the desert ones, which means they're all going to be husks. I should have activated the husk one. I didn't really know better, because you really have no idea what you're going to get vault-wise. So you just kind of take the chance on that one. And so here we find more points of interest. I get my stuff out. The mobs still are not too bad at level 4. They're pretty easy to deal with. The vault fighters are fast. See, there was a good instance of my shield taking a hit and blocking it for me. He was so fast and came up with me so quick that I ended up having to... My shield took advantage there and dealt with it for me. Another vault apple, some more carbon, and then of course the husks are just coming out of everywhere. The problem is, I realize when you run into these vaults, you end up activating a bunch of spawners as you're walking in or as you're walking close to things, and sometimes you don't realize that they're spawning in behind you. So we took care of a few more things, and then we ended up finding a vault altar. And this one is a time one. So I figure, I was early on, so I figured why not go ahead and just let it take 3 minutes. I did get a mystery box, some silk, another relic booster pack. There's some of that stuff into the shulker there, which is kind of cool. I like how you can right-click the shulker on items and put it inside it. But yeah, so we got a couple good things out of that. Nothing too extravagant, but it still wasn't too bad. And so we keep on looting, finding more and more stuff. I found a couple cool things in some of these chests. Nothing too exciting. We get quite a bit of loot from here. Here's an interesting one that has a bunch of coin piles around it. And of course, I know you need the bronze and the silver to be able to do stuff. Man, those babies are so fast. And he ended up boxing himself in down there, which is kind of nice. But the coin piles are very nice because you need that for a lot of different stuff. And of course, it spawns more vault fighters. And I mistakenly switched to my pickaxe there. I was trying to scroll to my sword here. The sword does a pretty good job. The vault swords are definitely better than the regular like netherite or diamond swords and stuff like that. So get this spawner out of the way, heal up a little bit. And of course, another vault fighter spawned, but for some reason he couldn't walk past the coin pile. It's very interesting. And so we'll mine up all the coins and get our vault bronze and all that kind of fun stuff as well. And so we continued on, and with only 30 seconds left, we finally got out of there. I was cutting it a little bit close on that one, way closer than I wanted. This one gave us 2400 XP and got me into level 5 there, which was awesome. Dealt a lot of damage that time, 1300 damage in that one as well. So that was pretty good. We got a lot of chests, 52 chests, and there we go. We leveled up to level 5. And since we had the stuff, we went ahead and made ourselves up some cheeseburgers, or well, a couple double cheeseburgers, and then just a regular hamburger. And sadly, this did not get us to level 6, but it made some headway towards it. Double cheeseburgers give quite a bit of XP. I know once you get more stuff later on, it gets to be even better. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I really appreciate you tagging along in all this, and I will see you all on the next episode.